said I oppose fracking. Show the tape. Put it on your website. Put it on the website.
Live from Clark Studios in Rochester, New York. Broadcasting around the world. You're listening to You Made It Political, where the voice of the keyboard warrior is finally heard and the arguments presented are put to the political test. And now, here's your host, Matt Clark.
In Biden's very first day as the President of the United States, it's no surprise that he wants to go and undo pretty much everything that President Trump put in place for the American people. On just day one, he plans on signing 17 executive orders that are going to roll back and undo President Trump's policy and head us straight back into the Obama-era Socialist days. Are you surprised by this? Because I'm not at all. I mean, Biden's not even going to be the one running the show, as we all know. Hillary Clinton, former President Obama are going to be really calling the strings here. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, everybody but Biden. Forget about Kamala Harris. I still don't think she really has any clue what's going on or even gets her head around the fact that she has become the vice president. In time will tell. Let's head over to the keyboard warrior cam right now. We're going to take a look at exactly what executive orders Biden plans on signing today and the insanity of everything that he's about to undo. All the good, all the America first out the window. Let's take a look. So soon after taking office on Wednesday, today, President Joe Biden, 46th President of the United States, plans 17 executive actions and orders, many designed to reverse President Trump's policies. So this is going straight back into the Obama days. I mean, let's be honest. Obama is calling the shots here. The Democrats couldn't be happier that they now get to put everything that Hillary Clinton, that Obama wanted for America before President Trump took office. Out of all the 17 executive orders, there's a few that really stand out that lead me to believe that we are headed down a path of complete chaos and destruction. They're not all bad, I'll give them that, but there are a few that screams insanity, that screams we are putting America in grave danger. Let's take a look at some of these executive orders. So Biden has signed 17 executive orders to reverse Trump's policies and restore Obama-era programs on first day. So he plans on doing this today. I mean, he is wasting no time. And in his very first tweet that he sent out this morning, he made it very clear. I'm wasting no time on this. We are going to roll back the curtains here. We are going to undo everything that President Trump did. And I don't even think that they're really trying to undo all that Trump did because they genuinely believe it's right for America. I really think they just are in it for the guy. They've been in it for 4 years. Are they really thinking rationally here? Are they really thinking in the interest of the American people? Or are they just out to stick it to Donald Trump? And we, the American people, are going to get caught in the crossfire. Because I tend to think that's exactly what's going to happen. So President-elect Joe Biden will sign 17 executive orders in the first hours of his presidency. I mean, slow down, buddy. Like, you literally just walked into the Oval Office. Do you want to take a minute? Talk about irrational and impulsive thinking on the man who's supposed to be the leader of the free world. So what is he exactly doing? Well, of course, no surprise, Democrats are getting rid of the wall. That's the very first thing they are going to do. They want to get rid of the wall. He's signing to stop immediate construction on the wall. Now, why are we doing this exactly? Because I'll tell you, illegal border crossings are down 87% where the wall has been constructed. Down 87%. So statistically, we're doing great on illegal border crossings. We've had the fewest illegal boarding crossings ever in the last 4 years than we ever have in hundreds of years. And we now want to go and undo that. We want to now stop building the wall and ultimately take it down when the wall has been the very reason illegal border crossings are down 87%. So where does it make sense? Why on earth are we calling for the immediate termination of funding for this wall? Listen, I get humanity. I get wanting to give people all over the world an opportunity to come into the United States. I'm all for that. I'm not for illegal immigrants. I'm not for paving a pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants. It's wrong. There are so many people who are here legally that have worked hard, that gave everything they had to come to America the legal way. That's how it should be done. So I don't want to hear people call or accuse anyone of being inhumane because we're kicking out illegal immigrants. They shouldn't have been here in the first place. And it's not my fault that this child's parents, when it comes to the children, put that child at risk, made a poor decision for that child. That's nobody's fault but that parent. But here we are. We want to open the gates, open the floodgates to illegal immigrants. The first thing we're going to do is start knocking down that wall. And then what he plans on doing is allowing 11 million illegal immigrants citizenship. Why? Why do we think that is? Why are the Democrats so eager to pave pathway to citizenship for the United States? Well, it can only be for one thing and one thing only. They want to set their party up for guaranteed future votes. Here you go, 11 million illegal immigrants, and hey, why don't the rest of you all come in? There's a line miles and miles of long, a mass migrant movement right now of people flooding, rushing the border because they think they heard Joe Biden say, if we get in now, we're safe. So there's a mass rush to the border of all of these illegal immigrants who are migrating out to the United States, all because Joe Biden promised them a safe passage. So we've got the wall coming down. Another thing that caught my eye today as I was flicking through the list of insanity that Joe Biden wants to undo on his very first day, Biden will sign an executive order on Monday or on Wednesday, today, to revoke the Trump administration's plan to exclude non-citizens from the census and appointment of congressional representatives. Now, what really frustrates me here is that we are not even going to make or make it mandatory for green card holders to become citizens of the United States before allowing them congressional representative opportunities. This is America, for Christ's sake. Shouldn't we at least make people prove their loyalty to the United States through citizenship before we allow them congressional seats? I understand we're trying to diversify this country and we're trying to accept equality. I get that. What I don't get is that we're rushing it. Why are we rushing it? We're making very poor decisions here. And now Biden wants to let non-U.S. citizens run for Congress to get congressional representative seats. Biden's move will also ensure the Census Bureau has time to complete an accurate population count for each state, which he will then present to Congress. We are overplaying this immigration card. We are going way too far the other way with it. And I think we're going to now see what the United Kingdom saw just a couple years ago before they said, we've had enough, we are done, close the borders, we want out of the EU. And they voted for Brexit. We don't need a crystal ball to know the direction that America is headed. It's a very socialist direction. It's a very dangerous direction because we are going to shoot ourselves in the foot and not be able to provide for all these people. The UK practically went broke trying to provide for all of the immigrants that they continuously let into their country. Now, if America was stable, if we had jobs, if unemployment wasn't at all-time highs, if we didn't have so much poverty, if we didn't have veterans starving in the streets, then I'd be all for immigration. I'd be all for letting people come on in. Hey, we need help. Come on in. But that's not the case. It's that America First mentality that we loved so much about the Trump era. And right before our eyes on day one, we're seeing that ripped away. And this is why so many people are so frustrated and so angry. And this is why we don't believe Biden when he says, I want to be a president for all. Well, then start taking care of the American people first. If you want to be a president for all and claim unity, then stop chastising half of the population, the half that didn't vote for you. Stop bringing up the bombing and putting people like me and every other Republican in that group of mobsters. That, to me, does not seem like you're crying for unity, which is why I thought today his inaugurational speech was complete BS. I thought the whole thing was a farce. I didn't buy it. I didn't agree with it. It was far from exceptional. His speechwriters are horrific and need to be fired, to be honest. There was nothing mind-blowing about a president who just came in, who supposedly was going to fix America, change America, and unite us all overnight. So I keep hearing cries for unity, but I keep seeing America get put last. That's not unity. That's not taking care of the American people. It's too far the other way right now, and it's putting America last. Back to Paris. Here we go again. Back into the climate deal. Climate change. President Trump was very adamant. Why are we wasting our time with this stuff? Do we really have climate change issues? Or does the world just go through cycles like it has been for the last trillion years? So we're going back into the Paris Agreement, created during the Obama administration. Of course, surprise, surprise, everything Obama did, Joe Biden now wants to do. I'd encourage Biden to start thinking for himself, but he won't. We voted for a puppet president, and it's very clear that that's all we're going to get out of Biden over the next 4 years. Now we head into socialism. Affordable housing. Let's extend the eviction freeze a little bit more. Let's screw landlords and let people get out of paying their rent. What do you think is going to happen when all these people have to pay their rent? They're going to have to pay it at some time, right? We have let people, tenants in America, stop paying rent for almost a year now. It's been that insane. Yet the landlords have continued to pay their mortgages. Why don't I get a break as a homeowner on my mortgage? Or if I was renting, why do I have to continue to pay the bank, but the renters get off? So these tenants are going to have to pay all this money at some point. And already statistically, they're all behind at least $5,000. The majority, over 12 million tenants, are behind at least $5,000 in rent. Where are they going to get that money? Where are they going to come up with it? So we're only kicking the can down the road here. We need to stop making excuses for the American people. We need to stop giving everybody free money. But Joe Biden wants to sweep in and just hand out free checks again and say, hey, don't worry about it. We'll get to it at some point. Yeah, you know how we're going to get to it? When I get taxed at a much higher tax rate to pay for everybody who stuck it to their landlords. So somebody's paying for this. And in a socialist economy, the taxpayers always lose. The elite end up losing. So he's extended the eviction freeze. Biden's also asked the Department of Education to consider immediately extending the pause on interest and principal payments of federal student loans. Why? Why? We are allowing these kids now to get a free pass. Why aren't we making them get to work, hustle? That's the American way. The American dream is to get out there and hustle. Yet we want to now pardon Every college student in America, we want to forgive at least $10,000 of their loan. And we now want to tell the banks and the loan departments to freeze interest on their payments. As if this country isn't in enough debt. How about we just get back to work? How about we get out there and make money again? Has the pandemic made us all go that insanely crazy that we forgot how to hustle as a nation? This is what America's known for. We hustle. That's what we do. We lead the way. We make our own money. We don't ask our government for handouts. But here we are. It's almost expected now because our government is brainwashing us. They're trying to get us to depend on them. And that is the very definition of socialism. So I laugh when people try to tell me, oh, you're over exaggerating. We're not going into socialism. Oh, we're in socialism, heading towards communism. That used to be an exaggeration too. But with our freedom of speech being taken away from us, we're not too far off. So America is absolutely going down a socialist agenda. Joe Biden has proved it today with all of the executive orders that he plans on signing away, the Paris deal, extending the eviction freezes, forgiving thousands of dollars from student loans, asking the banks to suspend interest payments, and now bringing down the wall, a wall that is reduced illegal border crossings by 87%. President Trump did a lot of good during his 4 years. He did a great job that a lot of people fail to understand or open their eyes to. And just like that, the Democrats are going to come in and start ripping down everything Trump did. All of the America First is going to go out the window. This is why we're pissed. This is why we're frustrated. The anger on social media is at an all-time high. People feel cheated. They feel that they've been lied to. At the height of the anger and the height of the frustration, President Trump loses his voice. He loses his freedom of speech on Twitter. At the height of the anger, they silence the leader of 70 million people who needed to hear from this man. No wonder this transition has been horrifically terrible on all spectrums. There was no transition. There was no real transfer of peace. Transfer of peace would have been the Democrats working with Trump on moving forward. But they didn't. They condemned him. They accused him. They blamed him for everything that a very small group of people did. So it's no wonder that he left with the sour taste in his mouth that he had. It's no wonder that he didn't want to shake hands this morning. It was a very sad day watching Trump leave, defeated, beat up, kicked down. He had the entire weight of the country on his shoulders, and they didn't let up. So Biden, in his cry for unity, his claim of being a one president for all, I'm not buying it. I don't buy any of it, especially when you come in and immediately start to reverse so many of the America First orders that Trump put in place. Let's see what the American people have to say about Trump's or Biden's executive order. We'll head over to the Keyboard Warrior Cam because after all, this show is about you. It's about what the American people think. It's about giving you guys the final say. Joseph says, all right, not even in the White House yet and already screwing up. This is going to be a very bad 4 years. It's exactly what we were saying. Frank says, just hold on. Wait a minute. Let's give this a second and just kind of think these things through. Clint says, dark days for America today. So many people are blinded by hate that the media created to see the good Trump did. Well, I hope they open their eyes to what is about to happen. Fuel has already jumped up 50 and 60 cents just in the last couple weeks. Get ready for the $4 and $5 fuel again. Nothing is free. Someone has to pay for all this crap he is promising. That's exactly it. Who's going to pay for it? It's going to be the taxpayers. And we know that. Democrats aren't even hiding it. Biden's not hiding it. He plans on raising the tax rates from small business tax from something like 21% up to 35%. Wants to hike up the tax rate on the wealthy who bust their ass to create jobs. Trump gets it. He's an entrepreneur. He's a businessman. Businessmen lower taxes. Why? Because it encourages them to reinvest their capital back into their business. Politicians don't know the first thing about running a business, at least legit businesses. They know a lot about running corrupt businesses. After all, Biden and Hunter Biden know a lot about that. What they don't have to do is pay taxes on all the money that they've stowed overseas, so they wouldn't really understand what a domestic American business owner would have to pay and how badly that hurts their business. When you hit me with higher taxes, I don't hire employees. Therefore, I'm not creating jobs. I'm not creating growth in the economy. Higher taxes have never worked. But because Biden wants to promise and whore himself out to the illegal immigrants, well, votes are clearly more important than the American people. So now we are going to have to suffer because of the tens of millions of illegal immigrants that he is going to now create safe passage for. Delane says, whatever it takes to ruin our country and turn it into a communist way of life, if that is the goal, God help us all. We are absolutely heading down a very, very slippery communist road. Teresa says, and then this country is going right down the tubes. Everything that Trump worked so hard at to help us all out. Now we're going to be paying twice as much for everything. Hope you Democrats enjoy all the high prices. Let me try to explain one thing to you guys. The middle class will always lose. Always lose when it comes to higher taxes. The wealthy don't actually lose. I'm gonna kind of break this down for you and enlighten you. The wealthy know how to legally evade taxes. They have good tax attorneys, they have great accountants. They know how to take an effective tax rate from 40% down to close to nothing. Hence the reason you saw Trump barely ever pay taxes. Hence the reason you have a lot of these big corporations and Amazon paying virtually no tax. The elite know how to navigate their way around the tax system because they have options. They have tax credits available to them. As an entrepreneur, I do it every single year. I don't pay a lot in taxes because I know what I can legally write off, and I stack the deck in my favor all year long. So Biden can raise that 400 grand income limit all he wants. I just won't take 400 grand in income because I will reduce my profits by jacking up my expenses and getting away with every single tax break and write-off that I'm legally allowed as an entrepreneur. As a W-2 employee, you do not have that same luxury. You make your salary, you pay your tax. It's very black and white. There is no write-offs. There is no expensing to bring your profits down to then offset your tax rate. So when these politicians claim they're hiking taxes so the elite can pay their fair share, that's not what happens ever. And again, Trump knows that. Biden also knows that. He's just going to BS you and make you think that he's really helping out you, the middle class. You're the last person that's going to be helped out. The middle class are the worst hit when taxes are raised because most of the middle class are W-2 employees who don't have their own businesses and aren't awarded the same luxury tax breaks that much of the wealthy are awarded. The lower class don't make as much to really get hit by any sort of tax hike at all. So I always laugh when I listen to politicians try to convince the middle class that tax breaks are going to help them out, that we're going to grow this economy because the elites are going to be paying their fair share now. The elite are going to do nothing but move their companies offshore and completely get out of paying tax altogether because that's their right. They're legally allowed to. They know what they're doing, and they're going to continue to do it. Because if it comes down to paying Uncle Sam more money and putting more in their bank account, they're going to choose their bank account any day of the week. No one wakes up and thinks, I can't wait to pay more tax today. They wake up and think, how do I get out of paying this tax? Again, entrepreneurs are able to do it. W-2 employees are not. Lauren says it took us 4 years to claw our way out of the devastating repercussions of the Obama-Biden era. And he is going to flush America down the tubes in a matter of days. It's exactly what he's going to do. Trump worked pretty damn hard. And I hate when I hear people say Trump inherited a skyrocketing economy. No, listen. Most presidents inherit an increasing economy. It doesn't mean you just sit back and it's going to continue to fly on its own. You actually have to do work to keep that economy propped up. The decisions that Trump's made helped us hit stock market highs year after record-breaking year. And so have past presidents. I'll give Obama credit. I'll give Bush credit. But presidents still need to make sure that these economies move forward. And it did take us a good 4 years to claw our way out of all of the Obama-Biden executive orders that they put in place that put America last. And we're going right back into it. It's a very, very sad day. As Jacqueline very clearly states, it's a sad and dreary day for America. So much good has happened for us in the last 4 years. Class in the White House, a true businessman to take care of America's businesses, then the China virus and a robbed election. Prayers for America with a heavy heart. Pat says Biden does not think for himself. He brought in a majority of the Obama administration at his own, and now he's going back to his glory days. Another 4 years of horrible economy, hard times, and corrupt government. We had it good with President Trump, and now we're going to go back to the Obama years. All these executive orders, 17 executive orders to undo all the good President Trump has done over the last few years. I mean, listen, I'm all for an all-women's cabinet. Look, our communication team. Look what Biden's done recently. He's put together an all-women's communication team. And I love to see our congresswomen rise to power. I love to see women in politics. I'd love to see a female as the president of the United States. I think it might actually be one of the best things for this country. I don't think Kamala Harris would be the best thing for our country, but I do think a female president would be very good for this country. So I'm all for women's rights. I'm all for women gaining power. What I'm not for is them gaining power unfairly, just because they're a woman. So when Biden put together an all-women's team, I thought, did you do this because they were all seriously qualified? Or did you do it just because they're women? Because if you did it because they're women and you're trying to prove a point, well, that's sexist. That's not fair. That's actually illegal. When I look at how diverse his cabinet is, two things come to mind. One is, I think it's wonderful. America is a diverse group of citizens from all over the world. And that's what makes up America. But the other half of me thinks, did he stack the deck just to prove a point? Because if that's what you're doing, then you're not giving everyone else a fair opportunity. Again, that is discrimination. So I feel like America is going way too far the other way, where it's actually going to start hurting white people who are being chastised today with the white privilege card. And you might sit there and think, well, ha ha ha, it's now the white people's turn to get a taste of what it felt like. But that's racism, if you're thinking like that. So I'm all for fair equality. I'm all for diversification, and I'm definitely all for women being in charge, but only if they are all qualified, not just to prove a point. So on the topic of immigration, let's see just how bad things are about to get. We already saw that his very first executive order today that he's probably already signed, the second he sat down in the Oval Office, was to take down that wall or stop construction immediately. So how bad is this going to be for America? Oh, well, it's already started. Let's take a look. So according to Fox News, a migrant traveling with a caravan that left Honduras on Friday, this is last Friday, told a reporter, this is what a migrant told a reporter. He told a reporter he was headed to the U.S. because soon-to-be President Joe Biden is giving us 100 days to get to the U.S. This is what they think in Honduras. Look at that line. Look at that migrant movement. This is what's coming to our borders right now, whether we like it or not. Now, Biden, of course, is saying, whoa, 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 everybody slow down. Guys, you got it all wrong. They don't care. They're coming. They're going to come, and guess what they're going to do next when Biden tries to stop it and infuriate them? Well, it's already started. The next thing is President-elect Joe Biden's nominee for Homeland Security said Tuesday that the Biden administration has a commitment to follow our asylum laws when asked about a caravan of thousands of migrants moving to the U.S. border. So already the Democrats are getting ready to not let Biden prevent them from coming in. So we have a caravan, a migrant movement of tens of thousands of people here who've got it all wrong. They're all confused. They think, and they've said this, well, we're coming because Biden said if we get in now, he's going to give us citizenship. And Biden's come out and said, no, guys, that's not the case. Everybody hold off for a minute. It's too late. So now when all these people show up, Homeland Security nominee has already said, well, listen, we're just going to have to play the asylum card and let them all in. So we already have 11 million illegal immigrants in the United States that Biden is giving free passage to citizenship over, just like that. They're getting citizenship. Plus, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people already on their way. Let's see what the American people have to say about this. So I'll tell you right now, it's not pretty. Things are only going to get worse. Alicia says, let's bring them up here when we are not allowed to travel without a vaccine. Or should I say, it will come to that. Let's bring them in so we can continue to rising numbers of COVID so that we can be controlled more by the government of what family we can send our holidays with. I could go on and on and on and on. Alicia's exactly right. So we are on lockdown right now. We can barely travel, okay? Or we have to get the vaccine, whatever they decide to do. So we're being told to stay home. We're being told to not travel. Meanwhile, we're allowing a migrant of tens of thousands of people to come freely into the United States. When we have a pandemic, remember, we have a pandemic. So during a pandemic, you'd think we'd be on lockdown. You'd think these borders would be slammed shut because we are so deathly afraid of the coronavirus right now, right? At least that's what you'd think if it were, in fact, a real pandemic, not this little fake flu thing that's going around. So the government claims we've got a serious pandemic. They're locking us down. They're not letting us travel. They're shutting down businesses. Yet they're allowing immigrants to come through our borders. We don't know what they're carrying with them. We don't know how many of them are infected with COVID. I mean, does this look like a socially distant migrant movement to you? I don't even think they're wearing masks. And they're definitely not 6 feet apart. So we've got a migrant movement on the way. Joe Biden, according to one migrant, he says that President Biden said he's going to give us 100 days to get to the U.S. Let's see what the American people have to say about this one, because they are furious. People are starving in the streets. People can't eat. They can't afford their rent. Our businesses have been destroyed. And we're going to let these guys come marching through our border and take up jobs over veterans who gave their life for this country, who are literally dying from poverty. But we don't care because Honduras wants to get in. Joanne says, make room at the Capitol. That's a great call. Where are we going to house them? Where are we going to put them once they get here? Maybe you can put them in the Capitol. Looks like voters to me and higher taxes, says Pauline. That's exactly right. Hey, Democrats need to keep increasing their base, build their empire, and they need more voters. You know, at this point, I don't know who I'm more angry with, the Democratic Party or the Republican Party for letting them get away with it. Where are these guys? Where are our Republican politicians right now? Where are they? Because I don't ever see anybody challenging them. All I see them do is talk about how Trump lost Georgia for us. Or Mitt Romney condemning Trump for the Capital One attacks. All I see the Republicans doing right now are blaming each other for this horrific, or Trump for that fact, for this horrific situation that we're all in. I don't see them going up against the Democratic Party. I don't see it. I don't see anybody challenging them. I see the Democratic Party right now steamrolling right through this country. And not a single Republican has the balls to step up to them and say, enough. We're just letting them get away with it. So again, who am I angrier with? The Democrats or the Republicans for letting them get away with it? Alexander says, or how about fight your own country for freedoms? You don't think it wasn't scary or hard for those who fought for ours? Of course it was. But if you want change, you don't have to leave your country. You have to be willing to fight for it. If you want to make things better, that's just laziness. He's absolutely right. Why do all of these emerging markets think that America is the answer? As if America didn't fight to get to where it is today. Why doesn't Honduras fight? Why don't these other countries stand up to their governments and fight? It's the lazy way. It's the easy way out. Because that's what America condones. We allow millennials to not pay their student loans. We allow tenants to not pay their rent. So why wouldn't we allow millions of migrants to come on in and freeload off America as well? That's the new American way. The socialist way. Instead of fighting in their own country, they come to our country. But what they don't realize is that it's going to cause us to start fighting. The American people can only take so much before they start to fight back. And if they get a whiff of America last, fight might begin sooner than we think. Kathy says, unbelievable, such a disgrace. We have to work enough for the people who don't want to work. The working people who take care of themselves are the true American. That's absolutely right. And that's how we started the show today, with hustle. The Americans, we forgot how to hustle. We forgot how to get out there and work. We forgot how to go earn. It's all handouts and more free socialist crack that we've now become addicted to. Instead of getting out there and hustling, the working people who take care of themselves are the true Americans. She's absolutely right. I'm all for helping people who really, really need it. Does this migrant movement look like a group of people who really need it? Sure, they might be starving, but so are tens of millions of Americans. There's people on the streets right here in our country that really need it. I don't think these people really need it. I don't think that they need to be coming to the States. I think they need to take care of themselves in their home country. Or at least make an effort. Frank says, bye-bye union jobs, more foreign-made product, more dope across the border, more gang killing on the next 4 years, more murdered babies, more murdered old people. That's what happens when you tear down those walls. Drugs come in. Yesterday, when We did our farewell to President Trump, which you can watch in yesterday's episode up on YouTube because Facebook blocked it, but it's up on YouTube. We went through Trump's accomplishments a mile long. How much he reduced drug trafficking, how much he reduced illegal border crossings. It was good for America. How much he reduced the opium crisis, how much fentanyl he stopped from coming across the borders. More illegal drug preventions than any other president in decades. The war on drugs is about to get big again. We've done a great job at killing it. And here we go. More dope across the border, more gang killings on the next 4 years, more murdered babies, and more murdered old people. All because we're letting everybody come in. Is it racist for me to say that? I don't think so. Statistics have proven that crime comes with illegal immigrants. It's very black and white. Franz says the problem is the third world gets more and more uninhabitable, among other things due to global warming and industrial pollution caused by the first one. On the other hand, first world economies suffer from the lack of workforce, as the first world countries' economies increasingly become lazy buggers, which he's referring to the Americans. The migration pressure is only bound to grow then. You need to think how to solve the equation, as merely blocking the borders has never ever worked. I beg to differ, Franz, because as I said in yesterday's live, illegal border crossing is down 87% in the last 4 years, where we've erected walls. So that's not true. It does work. It has worked. We've enjoyed quite a safe America over the last few years. And George says, here it comes, more trouble. Let's go back to the other article where we're speaking about the asylum. So here they are all. They're coming in because Biden's about to sign an executive order that says, everybody come on in, open game. And when they do get to the border, instead of turning them away, we're going to play the asylum card. That's how we're going to get away with that one. So Biden's DHS pick on migrant caravan. There is a commitment, he says, to follow our asylum laws. This is the Homeland Security nominee. Victoria says they expect to walk across the borders with no problems and with money, housing, jobs, and citizenship being handed to them. Gailey says all those migrants look healthy, well-fed, and most have cell phones. What are they escaping from exactly? And it's warm down there. Why do they want to come up here? What's so great about America right now? We can't even take care of our own American people. How are we going to be able to take care of these migrants? There isn't exactly the American dream going on right now. If anything, it's the American scheme. If thousands can assemble and march to the U.S. border, fighting law enforcement from other countries on the way, they can assemble, fight, and take control of their own countries. That's exactly it. That's what we said. Biden is signing America's freedom away by undoing and reversing everything that President Trump has put in place to put America first. Biden's wasting no time on day one to undo all that good, undo all that patriotism for Americans. The frustration is going to continue to grow as we see all of this be reversed over the days. And most importantly, as we see America put last again, just as it's been every other Democratic administration. Only time will tell. I hope I'm wrong, but the writing's on the wall. We're headed towards a very socialist agenda. We're heading towards a communist agenda. And unless we stand up and start fighting back, Democrats are going to keep steamrolling right through this land. But instead of crying about it, and I posted something on my wall this morning, and I'll read it to you guys, because I got murdered by a lot of patriots who I love dearly, and it made me sad in a way. A lot have even unfriended me. I wrote, there will be no Biden's not my president out of me. As an American citizen, he absolutely is my president. Not the one I voted for, but the one so many American people did. And it would be extremely hypocritical of me to claim that I love everything about this country, but then disrespect our next commander-in-chief. Now, don't get me wrong. I will absolutely continue to call out all the hypocrisy of the left, which we all know there's going to be a ton of. And I will probably even highlight during my show this afternoon how screwed America really is now that the left are completely in charge. And I will most definitely highlight the fact that his entire speech and cry for unity was BS at best, which I've covered all throughout this show. But despite how frustrated and gravely disappointed I am, Biden still is my president. He's all of our presidents. And I love and greatly respect our government. So we got to suck it up for the next 4 years. And we need to start working on our strategy to take back control of the White House in 2024. So my point is, we can sit home and cry about it. We can play the hypocrites and play the Biden's not my president card. But I refuse to do that. Because when I told all the far left liberals, when they screamed, Trump's not my president for 4 years, I said, he is your president, accept it. So for me to now turn around and do the same thing and beat myself up over it for the next 4 years is doing nobody any good. Instead, we need to accept the fact that Biden is the president of the United States. Whether the election was legit or not, that's not what I'm arguing. I'm not claiming either way. I don't know what really went on. All I do know is that we need to get over it. We need to come together and we need to start fighting back. Because if we abandon our electoral process out of spite, out of anger, then how are we ever going to win another election again? We need to keep that in mind. We need to stay strong as the American people and as a Republican Party. We need to start fighting back today and prepare for 2024. There's no point in sitting home and crying about it. Thank you guys so much for watching the show today. You guys have a great rest of the day. It's going to be very interesting next 4 years. We'll see what happens. Day one, the Biden era. I hope I'm wrong. Maybe he'll prove us all wrong. Let's see. You guys have a good rest of the day. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Thanks for listening to You Made It Political with Matt Clark. Be sure to like, follow, or subscribe to the show. Or leave us a review on iTunes. And if you like our show or want to know more, check out YouMadeItPolitical.com.